As I stood at the international departure gate of the airport, gazing at a patch of clouds in the sky, my heart was filled with mixed emotions. Tears of parting were still hanging on my face, and the visions of fears of the future were intertwined, forming a complex and unresolved tangle in my heart. At that time, I know that this step was a step towards my dream, but it also meant facing loneliness, challenges, and the pressure of stepping into a completely new environment. When I arrived in the US, my life was not smooth. Due to the language barrier, I was often unable to keep up in class, as the cultural differences made me feel out of place in the social situations. The most unbearable thing was the loneliness I had never felt before. Being far away from home, from familiar faces and warm embrace, the emotions of missing my loved ones at home came like a tidal wave, making it difficult for me to sleep late at night many times. One of my most memorable experiences was the first day off I spent in the United States. On that night, I slept alone at the window of my dog, and blue skies were fading in the sky. My heart was wrapped heavily by an invisible force, and the feeling of homesickness from the bottom of my heart was overflowing. On this night, when I should be reunited with my family members, my thoughts drift back to my distant hometown, where I have my loved family and friends, and my childhood memories and those familiar Mid-Autumn Festival costumes. I remembered the Mid-Autumn Festival at home, how there were gathering and laughter, and the table filled with all kinds of foods and mooncakes. I remember the time when I was a child and my family enjoyed the moonlight and put up lanterns, with the moon seemed to be brighter and fuller than ever. Now, in a foreign country, although the moon is still bright, I can no longer find the family room and joyous gathering. Since then, I have become more active in learning the language, taking initiative to participate in various clubs, and trying to make more friends. Whenever I encounter difficulties, I don't run away, but face them bravely. Through this process, I meet a group of friends. They may come from different parts of China or even the different parts of the world, but we all share the same goal. These friends became my new family in a foreign country. We will study together, travel together, and spend many unforgettable times together. In their company, I learned to share my emotions and stop hiding all the joy and pain in my heart. This exchange of emotions released and held my soul. Another forgettable memory is a trip I took with a group of friends to the Big Bear Lake. The beauty of the Big Bear Lake was beyond imagination, surrounded by snowy capped mountains. It seems like a separate place far away from the outflow of the world, which makes all of them deeply attractive. We ran a carving fire as the evening approached. We lit a bonfire in the yard and sit in a circle, watching the sunrise and sharing our stories and dreams. As nightfall, we went to sleep. As the first reed of the song falling on the earth, we meet again and watch the sunrise and feel the beginning of the day. During that time, we became like a real family, singing and laughing together, made us close to each other. The minute let our hand in your heart, then you can start to make it better. As it's been more independent, more and open after school, I learned how to face the challenges of life independently and how to find opportunities to grow in the midst of difficulties. And at the same time, I have impressed people and the world around me. All these changes are valuable factors in my sense of purpose and well-being as I continue to move forward.
Hi guys, you may probably wondering why I'm here, talking to you like this through the screen. Well, it's because I have a story to share with you, a story that's my story, but probably a little bit like yours as well. It's not just a continuing of events, it's an exploration of identity, a journey I'm still continuing, and right now, you are also a part of it. So every story has its beginning, and mine starting before the college, in a quiet, unassuming life of a small town. In their identity, just like something physics, it is just handed down rather than discovered. But all that changed at the day that I stepped onto the college campus. Places where identities were as diverse and vibrant as the leaves in autumn. I've never forget my first day in gender study. I was surrounded by people who had lives couldn't even imagine, whose experience with identity challenged everything I thought I knew. It was a revolution, a moment when I realized that the story of who I was just a story, and all the story can be rewrite. So, um, integrate, integrating new concepts into your life is like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces they keep changing, and I found myself in the middle of the conflict internet conflict. It's a dialogue between the belief I grew up with the new ideas that captivate my mind. It feels like standing at the crossroads of my existence, arguing with myself over which direction to take. Doubt creeps in during the quietest moment, the late night spent staring at the ceiling, wondering if the dissonance I feel would ever resolve into a harmony. This were the time when the weight of change felt too heavy, when the path forward seems obstructed by the fog of uncertain. But transformation isn't about a single defining moment of agony. It's a process, massive, challenging, and utterly beautiful. My journey not only mirrored that of Orlando, as well so vividly narratives, navigating the complexity of identity across century, gender, and roles, but also travels in the physical space of college life and the vast landscape of my own psyche. Both Orlando define the rigid constraint of time, gender, and social expectations, emerging as a timeless figure of adaptability and self-discovery. Inspired by this, I began to see my own identity not as a static construct, but as a river, constantly flowing, ever changing, reshaping itself with every bend in its course. It was here, amidst the tumult and the clan, that I found my own tribe. Changing is the one only constant in our life, a fact that I've come to appreciate in profound ways. Each lecture, each conversation, and yes, even each moment of doubt has been a step toward understanding not just who I am, but who I have the potential to become. It is a journey marked by the evolution of thought, expansion of belief, and the deepening of compassion. So, what does the future hold? I'm not entirely sure, and that's perfectly a right identity. I've realized isn't a destination but a journey, one without a clear beginning or an end. It's a path defined by growth, by the willingness to embrace the unknown, and by the courage to continuing question and redefine ourselves. And in this journey, the story we tell ourselves and each other are the very fabric of the becoming. And so, here we are. I've shared a piece of my story with you in the hope that it may reflect a part of yours. This isn't the end, but a continuation of a dialogue, a conversation that transcends the boundaries of our screens. Thank you for becoming here, for listening, for being a part of this journey. Until we meet next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep becoming.
I'm Lee. I'm a racing driver in the Lightning Racing team. My dream is to win the World Championship.
Was that period the most painful time in your life?
It's hard to say, but the accident opened my eyes to face the moment I walked into the car for the very first time. I was overcome with awe. I absolutely adore this workout because it raised my dopamine levels. However, in order to realize my ambition of becoming a lady, I had to take steps to enlarge my physical appearance. It is my choice to be a boy. I get a kick out of the sensation of passing other vehicles. When my father asked me what I want for my birthday when I was young childhood, I did not select a doll like other girls my age did. I chose something else. Instead, I told my father that I was interested for purchase a go-kart. I had the presumption that I would be able to make it into Formula One, but they informed me that she would not be able to participate in the sports because women are unable to deal with the strain. In order to fulfill my desire, I decided to transform into a body and change my gender. This is a decision that I am aware is challenging. I was involved in a pretty serious accident. As you will all learn as the times go on, my vehicle flipped over, and I hurt myself as a result. It is one of the oldest races in the world, and it is called the British Grand Prix. Just before the game, my mother gave me a call. She wished me the best of luck in my run for the race. But there is never a situation that is so easy. The competition starts as soon as all 5 red lights turn off. An automobile struck me by accident. Despite the fact that I had a good start to today, my vehicle flipped over when I lost control from it. Instantaneously, I experienced a feeling of a vertigo, and when the vehicle came a halt, I could feel discomfort all over my body. I was taken to the hospital and had a hard time not paying for a long time.
Was that period the most painful time in your life?
It's hard to say, but the accident brought me back to my family. You know, Formula One is located all over the world, I'm away from home for a huge amount of time. I need to take a calm seat, go for a stroll with my family, lie down on the grass, and back in the warmth of the sun.
Do you feel guilt for altering your physique in order to fulfill your dreams?
To be honestly, I like my body right now more. As long as I'm engaged in something that is significant, I believe that it is worthwhile. As a direct result of my leadership, there is a growing number of women who are interested to join the course. This also prompted the teams begin commenting whether or not women are suitable for the participation in these sports. Each of us understanding change, and the changes that we understand are getting better and better. There were times when I was made fun of, looked down upon, and there were even times when I was attacked. However, when you are focusing on the single issue, you will discover that there are a great deal of surrounding comes from outside that you are unable to hear. All I could do was concentrate, and concentrate some more. My goal is for the society to recognize that transgender people are capable for achieving their goals.
Do you want to say something to the children?
Put off the effort to achieve your goals. You have to faith in your capabilities, regardless of the gender you now identify with. And if someone tells that you can't, put forth the effort for them. Make use to your own strengths to demonstrate that you are capable of accomplishing this. Do not let the fact that you are a transgender person to make you feel inferior. The questions of gender is not a significant one. Kids, as long as you are headed to the correct directions, you should push the pedal of the metal.
Sir, can I ask you a question? Can you talk about how your life has been and like your experience through your life? Well, young man, I can talk about my life, but I want to refer first to Wolf and Picasso on how their film is mostly about change and how a person can change over time and find their true self. Well, without waiting anymore, let's go to how my story is. Honestly, young man, I would start with when I was 10 years old, and I didn't have much at the time. I was in Vietnam, I was living like a kid, playing around, and then suddenly, BAM! I just had to move to this country that I just don't know about. This country was crazy. We were driving back, and on the road, when I was looking out the window, the road was huge. But at least here, the community is mostly Vietnamese, so it's better. But I still have the language barrier at school, and I was struggling because of it. But honestly, I think I got through it. Sir, but you said you were struggling in elementary. Could you go on more depth on how you got through it? Well, I would say my most struggle would be my language barrier, since I couldn't understand them and they couldn't understand me. So most of the times, I was really lonely back then, since there weren't a lot of things I could do with them. But they were really nice and they brought me into the group and tried to at least interact with me. Honestly, my fifth grade teacher was basically my saving grace, since she could speak a little Vietnamese, so she could try to translate to other students, and that's when I honestly started making friends. And honestly, I would say that was the part where I just like had fun because I was able to interact with other students. Sir, what do you do on your free time then, since you were pretty lonely back then? Well, son, I will tell you, I'll be reading books. BOOK. Now, let's dive into some of these books that I love. Okay, let's say these are dragons, because one of my most favorite book is about dragons. It's called Wings of Fire. So let's say all these guys are dragons that are trapped in a cage where every single one of them are different. So there's like different animals. So then suddenly the cave explode and they were open to the outer world. And honestly, it's kind of like me, because I was like lonely back then. I was just stuck in a cave. But then suddenly a teacher appeared and then BAM! I get to explore. One of my favorite quotes from there was, "Let's go on an adventure." Honestly, that sounds really bland, but that was just my childhood, you know what I'm saying? So then all these guys, they go explore and they find their true self. Just like how I am transitioning my true self to something that I want to be. So then like maybe this guy's going to Sea Kingdom, this guy's going Fire Kingdom, Earth Kingdom, stuff like that. Honestly, it was really interesting. Sir, can you continue on to middle school? How was it? Oh, son, there weren't much. I got another favorite book if you want to know about it. But it's pretty obvious what it is. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Okay, sir. But how did you get over there? You were just right here. It's right in front of me. Well, boy, you don't need to know. Well, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Honestly, just like I was forced to read it, but I came to like it. You already know. Every kid probably did. So, honestly, he's just a kid in like his teenager, just like having fun and like finding himself out, getting in trouble. Honestly, it kind of relates to me because like middle school, nothing much, but I was getting in trouble a lot. Had a lot more friends, so I would say it's more enjoyable because of it, because I make trouble. And then I would say it comes to high school. Well, a lot of it was mostly my cross country team. They was really my main friend group where I got to introduce to a lot of people, and that's when just things just like start going. I started making friends. I started going to events. I start doing stuff that I wasn't able to do because my language barrier. Well, I can still do it in middle school, but now it got a lot better. So I just do more activities overall, and overall I had a lot of fun in high school. And now it's college. College, new life. And now we have to adapt to that. And overall, I feel like UCI is it's just a good place. And overall, I enjoyed my stay here for my first year, and hopefully my next 3 years I would enjoy UCI every time I come here. Thank you for talking about your life and how you transitioned throughout your life and how you changed. Thank you to you, I could tell my story, young kid. Well, honestly, transition of my life is how I transitioned from pretty much a lonely kid to over time building friendship. And basically, I just changed myself over time since things happens in life and people change, and I changed as well. Thank you so much, young. Feels right and aim for my heart. If you feel like it, take me away and make it okay. I swear I'll behave. You wanted control, so we waited. I put on.
People require change. Time permits change. In this film, A Different Us, I present myself as Brian Pham, appreciative of Paul Preciado as an inspirational thanks and breakthrough of Virginia Woolf's novel Orlando, a biography. This film is based on a time of transition in one's life, which similarly exemplifies Preciado's work on capturing the life of the trans. It is courage that allowed Woolf to bring awareness of what was happening, that is, the unjustified treatment of women and the dismissing domination of the masculine over feminine. Speaking of transition, clocks are patriarchal to someone like Woolf because she discovers one's character through an expression free from constraint. Orlando shows a more classically feminine understanding of time by hinting that there is a greater dominant force, which may be referred to as masculine, and overtaking an invisible barrier against expression. Preciado's part on producing the film as an autobiography instead of a biography based on the idea that fiction is not opposed to truth exemplifies why a genre is not definite in the sense that genre can be conventionally manipulated to include multiple perspectives, while not erasing the identity of genre. Woolf's works and Preciado's efforts were both a step forward of modern feminism. What good has time done for you? Time in itself has allowed me to transform and balance the waters of adulthood. Attending college is one of them as I become independent and discover what I can become. I am in a state of change. I see people differently. I behave differently. I am becoming myself, whether I like it or not. Author Mitch Albom of The 5 People You Meet in Heaven articulates my changing moments well. Parents rarely let go of the children, so children let go of them. They move on. They move away. The moments that used to define them, a mother's approval, a father's nod, are covered by moments of their own accomplishments. It is not until much later, as the skin sags and the heart weakens, that children understand. Their stories and all their accomplishments sit atop the stories of their mothers and fathers, stones upon stones beneath the waters of their lives. The constant of people walking on a college campus represents that change is always happening, internally and externally. It is only a matter of time that I transform into a different me, to myself and from others. As I grow older, my perception alters between my parents and myself in terms of experiencing the effects of not being with them forever, which may pose mental, although temporary, challenges for others, such as in my case, in terms of adjusting to an environment where you are in control of your actions. Whether to base your values off your parents or familial connections that you have been living under also opens leeway for what I can do. This is where independence further contributes to the transition in my life from being heavily cared for by family to doing that myself, especially considering I feel that I heavily depend on my family for the person I currently am, who is undergoing change. This makes decisions in life that seem to follow my familial values, such as how to act, what to wear, and music to listen to. However, this transition is not always bad, as I can finally bloom into someone that I never thought I would become. American singer-songwriter Sasha Sloan, in her song called Older, describes how I see my parents. My parents aren't heroes, they're just like me. Because now that I am in the process of becoming a different me, I recognize that my parents are individuals too, rather than being solely a driving source of my life where they have their own ambitions and enjoyments that accompany individuality. Although my degree of transition may not be as extensive compared to others, I strongly feel that my transition impacted me, mainly because these recent years are the first chances I get to become a person and experience the American dream. Because I have never resided as far from home, I am currently undergoing change. I realize this because every now and then I still direct my help from family, despite the lesser social intimacy that was once there. People must change for the better somehow. American novelist Louis L'Amour pinpoints my transition. There will come a time when you believe everything is finished. That will be the beginning. Thank you, Brian Pham. Please enjoy the rest of the film as I approach the classroom that gave birth to this production. Because change is always happening.